I'm Tim Hooper.
And I'm Mike Gandolfo.
And this is The Trust Factor,
where high touch
plus high tech
multiplied by high trust
equals the real estate professional's formula for success.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Trust Factor. I'm guessing, Tim, that this episode of Trust Factor is our audience is going to grow substantially because we are just coming off of the Energize event, 2 great days, and listen. So I'm hoping that you that all those people that were energized are now listening to the show. We've got a whole new audience to share the show, and because of that, I think we should just take a step back and just talk a little bit about really what we are about for just a couple seconds, and then I'll let you introduce today's topic. But when you tell people, Tim, about this show and what we're about, what do you tell people? What's your 3-second or 30-second pitch there?
30-second pitch. I asked people, I said, do you feel overwhelmed by technology? And they're like, yep. I'm like, do you wish real estate, we just get back to just human interaction, face to face, like really, really deeply connecting, just cutting all the noise? They're like, yep. I'm like, yeah, it's the trust factor.
Yeah.
High touch plus high tech to amplify that touch, but multiply by trust. Don't be scripted. I am anti-script. And I think most real estate agents got into this because they are a teacher or they are like a kid. If you do the brand archetype. Now, this isn't in my pitch is already done, by the way, so my 30 seconds is over. But if you do the brand archetype on most real estate agents, you're going to find that they're the caregiver or the sage, okay, and maybe a touch of explorer. Okay, I tend to be the I don't tend. My archetype is explorer and sage. So I'm more of the go out and try new things, go travel, go, but teach. Whereas a caregiver is more, I have this community. I'm a teacher in my background, a nurse in my background, a Mary Kay consultant in my background, whatever. And I'm a care. I like to give care, and I'm a teacher. With that in mind, none of them, like when I'm coaching in sales, none of them care for, hey, Mike, I'm Tim Hooper with Requity, and I'm calling because nobody needs a script. They don't want a script. What they want is a framework to connect, like a framework that empowers them to connect. And so that's what the trust factor is. It's how do you go connect with a high touch plus high tech system multiplied by complete humanity, complete honesty, complete relevance, and competence for what you're reaching out about.
I love it.
That's trust. So anyway, but the trust factor is you're overwhelmed by tech and you want to get back to just human deep connection and be a human about it. And that's how do you do it, man?
Well, I mean, as I'm thinking right here, sorry, I had a little frog in my throat. It's that season, right? As I'm thinking right here, technology, the way that we use technology in our industry can either put a wall between you and the person, like it's almost like a filter or whatever else, and or it can help you bring people together. And so when I think of that, the wall is almost like a dividing sign. It's a way to divide people, right? Keep some people over here and some people over here. But we're all about multiplication, baby. We're about multiplication. And we do that by deepening connection and bringing people together. This is how you use technology to multiply your impact. And really, hearing you talk, obviously, that's my life. Former teacher, former coach. Actually, never a former coach. I'm always coaching. And people ask me all the time, I was like, hey, what'd you do before real estate? It's like, oh, I was a basketball coach. And then I always make the joke, I was the typical high school basketball coach who was also teaching AP chemistry. And because they all would look at me funny, thinking I was like the gym teacher or the social studies teacher. And I said, really though, I recognized right away that I could get the same fulfillment in working with a client in real estate that I could with, working with my teams, or now working with agents, right? I got a group of people who are going after a goal, who need the fundamentals, who need a game plan.
Yep.
And that's what coaching is, right? Who helps them make adjustments. And And yeah, that's what it's been for me, and that's
powerful.
it's been great. And I really have enjoyed kind of working with agents that way, because it's even more so as they evolve and get better, and it's almost like taking them from the freshman to the JV to the varsity. Man, maybe I'm going to redefine what my levels are in my office based on that. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Tim?
Well, hey, real quick before we jump in, because
Yeah.
the audience has swelled coming off of your great panel at Energize. We were talking with the title agency owners and sales folks, and we're getting in your head about real estate agents and brokers and what really matters, what's valuable to them. So, as we're thinking about, if you're a mortgage company listening, a home warranty company, whoever you are, when you're thinking about reaching out business to business, it's not B2C like a real estate agent. This is business to business. A real estate agent's a business owner, and you're reaching out to a real estate agent. Just again, remember, you leverage technology to get to the connection. And I love what you said. The image needs to stick. Technology is either a wall, right? Or it's actually building community, like building connection. It's serving to. So just ask yourself that limit test. Are you getting engagement when you use technology, or is it just, does it feel stagnant? And is it like, do you feel like you're hitting a wall with it? Because if you are, it's probably a wall. It's probably serving as a wall. So I just say, even as a title professional mortgage, ask yourself, how is technology serving you? I don't believe in doing technology for the sake of technology. And I think that's where a lot of us get lost with 25 tabs open. We got lost in our CRM trying to set all these little things and beautify everything. It's like, just stop all that and go have connection and get your head in the game of what's really, really valuable and important. And then come back and demand the technology to help you amplify that.
You can still be super successful in our business as long as you can just work with this.
That's exactly right.
And I'm holding up my cell phone for the people who are listening. I used to hold up the cell phone and the pen, but you don't even need the pen anymore.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it takes. You know what? Still handwrite contracts. It doesn't matter. You can still be successful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point. So I would like to talk about two things this morning, Mike. And I know that this will tie in really, really nicely. It'll keep it light. I know we've got some.
So are you setting the tone for this episode and the next episode?
Are we
already teasing the next episode?
Let's tease the next. The next one's going to be a little deeper. Okay. The next one's going to be a little bit. Don't miss the next one, because the next one's going to help you show up like your competition can't even dream. And at the end of the day, Mike and I don't believe there's competition, because the only competition I have is the person I looked at in the mirror as I straightened my hair and Mike threw his hat on. I got to get, dude, I'm going to get a hat for this show. I'm going to become a hat person just on the show, because Saturday morning.
Well, listen, that 3XHT logo would look pretty slick on this hat.
It would.
It would. Yeah.
We're going to do that. Don't order me one, because I know you will. Don't do it. This is on me. All right. So, hey, next episode, going deep on a topic. Please be on that one. But for today, let's keep it a little lighter. We just came out of Energize, and most everybody at Energize, they were on the receiving end. So let's talk about communication and the drips. I mean, we call them drips. Some people call them touches. Some people call them email campaigns, whatever it is. Let's talk about your touches when it comes to technology. Okay. So remove social media, because social media is like you're posting it out there, and social media is more you're hoping it lands. You're hoping the algorithm serves it up to your people. And if you're working and staying active on social media, you're pretty sure it's going to land, and you're providing quality. You can gauge by the comments and all that. But let's move social media. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about the direct mail, the email, or any form of channel that you might have people plugged into. Some people have a community built like on a subscription area or platform, or some people have a community built on like maybe a thread that goes out. They blast text through like Reach or something like that. Okay, that's great. I want to hone in on email, but it kind of encompasses all of these. That is like a subscription based or a monthly based sort of a drip. So if you attended Energize, you were on the receiving end of ours. So Mike, first, let me just kick it to you. What kind of drip do your agents use? I mean, in the high touch, deep referral mindset that you coach, like what is that monthly, quarterly? What does the cadence look like for that form of a communication?
Interesting. So working the way that we do is basically we really want touches to come from all different angles. Okay, so
omni-channel.
Yeah, right. Like people don't seem to get overwhelmed by communication if they're getting touches from different angles. It's almost like you're just showing up in different places, right?
Yep.
So we do send out a mid-month email, and that mid-month email will supplement what we sent as a physical mail piece at the beginning of the month. So we talk about that lead generation side and again, I'm going to talk about everything that's been taught to me by Buffini and Company. I got to give them a shout out. And if you are interested, you should go check out Buffini and Company.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and act like these are my ideas or anything like that. But Buffini gives us 100 mailers to send out, because when you make the decision to go deep with your relationships and not just say, I need 3,000 names or whatever else, like you can have relationships with somewhere between 100 and 250 people and really, I was talking to a brand new agent yesterday, like just passed this test 2 weeks ago. And I was saying, he's like, well, I'm looking at my list and, I don't think any of these people are going to be looking to buy or sell homes. I was like, get past the fact that whether or not these 100 people on your list buy or sell a home, realize that every one of those 100 people know another 150 people. And we want them to be able to connect us with that next level. They're the ones between us and the client that we need. I really don't care if my client ever moves on my list, right? As long as they're connecting me with the people who are moving.
Yep.
And so they get a mailer, they get the email, and 2 weeks later, and that's really kind of what happens on a monthly side. Meanwhile, on a personal side, we're doing the phone calls, the personal notes, the little Popeye gifts. But the other technology that we're using, and I think we've talked about it on the show before, but Lolo. You mentioned that you used or you received a Lolo.
Yep.
And so we have. I really don't know because I don't handle this part. My wife does, but somewhere between 25 and 100 names every month, and I think she probably tailors it depending on what the gift is of people receiving this Lolo gift. And if you don't know what Lolo is, it's a quick text message that gives them a local business, like a special offer, a local business, like with I think one time it was like a free bag of tea from the Louisville Tea Company. So
great little things too, and really highlight. It really uses local, like it really highlights the local. It gets people to recognize their local community better. So I think it serves several purposes. Anyway, but keep going.
And so now on a mass scale, my top 100 people have gotten physical mail piece of something that's not like, hey, work with me, look what I just sold. It's like, hey, like it's a poignant something. They call it the item of value. Like it's almost like something that would be important for them to know. It could be like on identity theft or how to raise your credit score or whatever else. They're getting an email follow up 2 weeks later, and they're getting a text from Lolo. So everybody's getting those three. And whether or not we actually get to them from a phone call standpoint or a personal note standpoint, because I look at the personal note side a little bit differently, then we've at least sprinkled the field. Like we've at least planted some seeds and sprinkled them with water. We might not have actually hit them with the fertilizer.
Yeah. So your fertilizer is going to be probably more on an intelligent or a less automated approach. That's going to be, you look at your list saying who's either showed interest, raised a hand. You're doing your follow up.
No, actually, not always.
No.
Well, if they've showed interest in the past, like if they've been someone who's referred us in the past, they'll refer us again if we handle that the right way.
Yeah.
Right. So like I don't. So we rank our people based off basically their referability, and so if I got the top level people, I'm hitting them quite often because I know that they're advocates. They're out there working for me.
They're referring you. Gotcha.
I had one lady who she's a teacher. Oddly enough, we have a lot of teachers, a lot of physicians, a lot of engineers, a lot of pilots. And she had someone say, "Hey, my husband just took a job in the area. I need to find a school to work at. Where should I start to get hired as a teacher?" And she's like, and she turned that conversation. She goes, "Well, do you have a realtor?" Like she's the one who asked the real. Now that's the exception. You don't have too many people at that level who would turn that, who would flip the conversation and be like, "But you really need to talk to my realtor," right? So,
but can I just stop real quick?
yeah.
Like, why would she go there? Because she must have seen, and you guys have demonstrated that you're hitting on components. Like, we know the local market. We know, like, we help people do, like, you've hit outside of real estate enough to break that down. In my opinion, if somebody's recommending that, but maybe I'm off.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go even deeper, Tim. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old or it's the holidays or just life events that have been going on, but I've been just reflecting a lot, and just there's 3 specific people that we've moved on our street. And, situations came up where we had properties come up and it was just the right fit, and we were able to move these 3 families on our street. And if nothing else, I know that I've had a profound impact on those 3 people's lives, on those 3 families' lives, going all the way down to the kids. And in her case, they've bought and sold with me 3 different houses. So this is the 3rd house that they've bought and sold. Well, they haven't sold it yet. So they're 5 transactions in, and they're younger than us. Wow. Yeah, because he was moving all over the place for a little bit. And so, and I know that we've helped them build their wealth with every single move and that they've done. And not only that though, but like, just the impact we've had on their family. And when her dad passed away, actually that's the 4th family we moved on our street, and I guess I lumped them into one, and we just like fed them and just showed up for them, and that was after she had done this thing with the teacher and all that stuff. But it's just like the way you show up for people, and deepen that relationship. And you don't need to have a lot of quality relationships like that to all of a sudden have a business where you're like, and I'll tell you, I was actually talking about this. I'm sorry for rambling, but it's all popping in my head.
It's all important. Let's go.
We get invited to the kid's birthday party or the whatever, and I don't want to go to that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm such a homebody. I'm an introvert, but you turn around and you show up at the thing that you got invited to, the kindergarten graduation or whatever, and then you get in the room and you realize, oh, I've worked with those people. I've worked with those people. I've worked with those people. And you're looking at the room and you realize this person just threw me a client party. Like, they just, and you're getting the feeling of how intertwined you are in these people's lives.
Yeah.
Beyond just like, so you're showing up for them at either the happiest or the darkest time of their life. Wow. Right. And it's crazy from that standpoint. That's probably more than you wanted.
Well, that's important, because as we go back towards like these communities we're building, or these databases we're putting together, these listservs, if you will, that, hey, when you if you're a title company listening, like when you drip out a piece of communication about your CE class you're going to do for real estate agents, like, here's the question on that. How does it stand out over every other title company dripping CE classes out to real estate agents? You can get in constant contact and make your colors look nice, and you can make your brand on point, while maybe your competition is just using the basic version. It still says like powered by at the bottom, and like it's kind of janky once it comes out. Like, I've seen them all. I'm on these, and I receive them. And you know what really is the one that drives me towards action is the one that has more of your essence in it. And what I mean by that is, I talk about leveraging video because it's so powerful. It's literally, I've had massive clients come through just a message that they saw, so I get the power of video, but not everyone's leaning into video. It doesn't necessarily have to be video, but I'll tell you this, the people who put faces, like actual faces, like your essence in their communications, their drips, the people who use faces, and not just yours. Like, I want to see yours. I want you to stay top of mind, but your team, like you're selling me as a business professional, a real estate agent, you're selling me on the power of your team. Like, demonstrate that. So even if you're emailing about a CE event, and I don't need CE, I'm not coming to your CE. Did you educate me past the CE? So like, keep this in mind. When your communication goes out, how are you making it deep? Like really, really deep. And here's the thing, is CE valuable? Yes. So our number one rule, and Mike, we've said it before, AAV, always add value. Always add value. Just that's, if you're ever procrastinating about sending something out, just ask, does this add value? Beautiful. Send. Get past the procrastination. Because if it's valuable, it's going to land with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But how can I make the value deep? And the value is, don't ever go for yes. There's a whole nother episode here. I don't want to get into Chris Voss and going for no, like, but he said, we're so addicted to yes. We're so addicted to hearing yes that we're trying to sell this CE because somebody back at the office, some attorney who owns you is like, why are we doing these CEs? We're only getting like 22 people on these things. Like, and then you're sitting there as a marketing professional or a sales professional, like, oh no, I got to do a better job driving this CE class. So I got to get 40. I got to get 40. So we're going for 40 yeses. And we're doing all the stuff, and we're really driving that CE. But here's the trick: get your head out of the CE. That's a one-time moment in time event. Get your head around all the humans on the other side that are in that room that Mike was just describing. Now they're on your list, but sometimes we let technology let us forget that there's people with skin on that are receiving this, who are busy, who don't look at their inbox mostly anyway, and so that one little CE and you're like, oh, I can't send anymore. If it's valuable, like show off your team. Yes, this is CE, but like putting something in there deeper about like, this is what we're building towards. Like, this isn't just a one-off thing. We're like building this thing. We're a community. We're having, maybe it's more of an email about, here's a CE next month, but like, are you getting our, like, are you in on this thing that keeps going, and like our attorney leads it, and he's going to give you, like, help you grow your real estate business, like whatever. Just value deep faces. It has more of your essence. That's going to stand out and make me say, maybe I should plug into this. But I would also say that your essence is important, but also your frequency is important. I think some of us just drip and expect that to get the job done. I think you got to drip, and you got to resurface the drip, and you got to drip. And people tell me, they say, aren't you afraid of like people getting too much? If they value the thing, it won't be too much. If they don't value the thing, it's already too much. So, and again, you're not going for yes, you're going for no. So, Mike, I was telling you, leading up to Energize.
Yep.
Well, let me pause because I want to talk about a couple specific practicalities and we'll wrap up. But when I was talking about value and deepening that, and the frequency, like what landed with you? Like,
so, well, I mean, we've said this quote several times on the show. Gino Wickman's quote of systemize the predictable. This is all your marketing campaigns and whatever else that you have out, so you can humanize the exceptional.
Yep.
And the one thing I want people to take away who are at Energize in the room, because they were trying to pick my brain of like, how can I get relationships with agents and whatever else? And, you got to understand that every agent is going after one of four things. And you've heard me say this on the show before. And they're looking for freedom, impact, earning potential, or autonomy. And they could be looking at all those things, but you should know what your agent in front of you is actually going for and how you can help them get with that thing. Right. Yep. And going back to not being scripted, like, you need to know who you're sending it out to. So maybe you have a group of people who are more freedom minded, and this group over here is a little bit more impact minded. But for me, like, going back and thinking and preparing for this panel, it's been all about, like, I want to feel when I walk into the title company, this has nothing to do with your marketing. I want to know your staff. I want to feel like they're part of our team. I want to feel a connection. I want to feel like when I come into the title company's office, it's like me coming into my home court. I want to even be the point, like, when I was really humming, it's like I knew to take their IDs. I knew exactly how the processor wanted them photocopied, and I was the one getting them coffee and water or whatever else, not the assistant, right? Because it felt like an extension of us, and that connection for me is super important. And that's when I go back to think about the title company that I kind of drifted from. And we were there with them at the very beginning of growing in the little office condo and then the bigger office space. But we always had that connection. And then ironically, they moved closer to our office, but put more walls up between us and their people. Wow. And I don't feel as connected to them anymore. And they're closer. Now, meanwhile, we got a buddy of ours that we both know, Jason, who I was texting with last night as, you know, about nothing about real estate. We were talking about basketball and, you know, and that connection. And I can go in that office and I was just in his office meeting his two people that help him, one from Idaho, one from Tennessee. And like there's faces to names and I feel like I'm helping them make their business better and they're helping me make my business better. And just like, we're all in this to lift everyone up together. And the more I feel like just a number on a piece of paper or just a part of your list, probably it's not going to work for me. I need to feel like, you know, we're in this together.
Yes. So good. I think deepening the value always comes to the point of it's not about another thing. It's about, are you building community? And I think people want to know in their brains, like when you reach out to them, people want to know if I put the energy, and here's the thing, we all have limited amounts of energy. So when people receive your communication, number one, it needs to be very, very easy, like low cost barrier, like click easy here. Like if it's confusing, you're losing. So like, that's another thing. That's another communication training, but is it valuable? And then can you deepen the value by showing faces, by introducing a little bit more about, like, instead of just like, you know, Michelle Stats Esquire is teaching this class, this CE. Tell me a little bit about Michelle and her brain and how her background, you know, teaching the CE, like show me her face, or maybe have her jump on with you and do a quick little intro so that in 30 seconds, I could get a feel of like, Michelle can help me save these big deals that I have. So I'm not just coming for a CE, I'm coming for connection with Michelle. So all right. The reason I'm going here very, very deep on this episode is everybody who attended Energize, you saw the demonstration where we took a sponsor and we said, hey, sponsors, here, you get this opportunity for a highlight. By the way, I'm shocked how many sponsors didn't take the opportunity for a highlight, but that's beside the point. But anyway, so the sponsors jump on, we do the highlight and we interview them. We don't just say, tell me about, you know, let me throw one out there. Tell me about age or about TitleSphere. TitleSphere is a CRM for title people and blah, 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 blah. No, it's like, Samantha, like as a sales leader in title, why does TitleSphere work for your people? Tell us how it builds connection. Tell me your sales mindset behind that. Why is that important? Why did you say that's important, the software to you? So for 30 minutes, we dug into Samantha's brain as a sales leader so that when we drip the sponsor highlight out, it's not like, here's our sponsor, and everyone else is like, I already have a CRM. I don't need a sponsor. What are we doing? We're saying, TitleSphere or not, here's how to take whatever CRM you have today and really amplify it. So in the touch, we are radical about deepening the value, and I would say the connectivity in it. Because if people can connect to like one of the points of the story, the value depth, then it's gonna pull. It's gonna pull in the connection. You're gonna feel connected. Now I'll tell you, out of 1,500 people, Mike, receiving, and by the way, we for everybody listening who does events, and we're coming up on 30 minutes, we got to wrap. But if you're doing an event, and even as a real estate agent, if you're listening, you're doing events, save the date went out in September. Registration opened up like beginning of October. And then every other week through October and November, they got something like, hey, the agenda was just finalized, or take a look at our speaker lineup. And then all the speakers were revealed in November. And like, so it was just like kind of every other week, kind of. Then December hit, we went every week, sponsor highlight, this, that, get Ryan Estes' book, the guy come in and speak, get his book. He's going to sign him at lunchtime. Everything that's valuable to like making the conference, like the most of it. And then all the sponsor highlights with all that value. And then we come into January, we're like 3 weeks out, and we're doing every 2 weeks because we have you and Charlotte got on and did a little highlight. And then Sam Trimble and Christy Kaufman. And then I was in the airport saying, hey, we need final head count for the meal. And all of that stuff, those are value touches, and they the frequency. And this is what freaks people out there. The frequency will, out of 1,500, only 3 people replied and said, please take me off your list. One, okay, was a real estate agent that somehow got on the list, shouldn't have been on the title agent. So she was like, this event isn't for me. But it took her all the way. She was on my list. I didn't even know she was on my list. Somehow slipped through because and Mike, the thing was, it actually took the frequency to give me good feedback, so that I called her and said, you're on the wrong list, but Mike and I are doing this podcast. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll get subscribed. So she's now on the right list. And then the other one was, hey, I'm not an agent of F&F anymore. And I was like, well, that sucks. Yeah. But hey, if that ever changes, or because she's a great salesperson, I'm like, if you end up landing at a great F&F agent, call me, because we want you back in the community. But yeah, I'll take you off the list. And then one was an attorney. He's more internally. And he said, Tim, I love you. But I never take me off your list by, oh no, I call them. And I'm like, hey, was it too much? Are you on the wrong list? Whatever. And then he just said, Tim, I love you. It just, I'm not coming to Energize. And that's really not my role. Like, my boss pulled me into this. He thought I should be more of a salesperson, so he wants me in your community. I'm like, Ed, I completely understand. So you know what I mean? It's like, don't fear it. Make the value so deep. And I know I'm talking very, hopefully enough technical that you can now map out your own event and your thing. But you guys, you were at Energize and you saw how we dripped it. And I'm telling you, it absolutely works. I mean, the seats were full. I mean, we're packed. So just think about it. And then Mike says, go to the birthday party, because you'll humanize your list.
Well, you always want to look for, you're going to, again, I love the idea of the law, the harvest, and you're talking about planting seeds and watering them, and you're going to get growth, and you're going to get things to happen out of that. But if you really want to make that list come alive, you've then got to know that you've got those, as Larry Kendall from Ninja Selling calls them, you have the auto flow set on automatic so well, so that it's set it and forget it, just like you just mentioned. And then so that you can spend an hour a day, right? Can you find 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, to go just deepen connection with just a couple people? Like, we're not talking about, I've done all this auto stuff and now I need to go make, 25 phone calls and whatever else. Like, go deep with just a couple people and deepen that connection, right? And I was talking to someone the other day about, I went to a coffee meeting with somebody that was introduced to us by someone that we have in common. And I leave that coffee meeting immediately thinking, how can I help that person? Or who do I need to introduce that person to? But if I don't have another touch in there, that eventually just starts to wane away. And then all that was just a coffee meeting. Yep. The follow-up, the humanization, how we going to go about that stuff, said, hey, I've got some follow-up that has to happen between me and that person to keep that fire going. Yes. Right. Yep. And that's really what it kind of comes down to. So, all right, what are we going to be talking about next? You didn't really get to tease the next episode. So tease it right now.
Yeah. Jump in next week, guys. We're going to talk about one of your competitive advantages, and it's removing the pedestal, taking people off pedestals and really seeing people at the heart and asking probably one of the most important life questions you could ever ask somebody, and has nothing to do with real estate.
I love it. Okay. Well, stay tuned for that episode. We'll see you next week. Again, Tim and I are for hire. If you want to bring us into your office, to bring us into your association,
let's go.
Reach out. Let's do this. Okay. See you guys next time on Trust. The Trust Factor podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. You can even watch us on YouTube.
And subscribe to the channel so you can comment and drop your questions and share it with your team.